probably going to be in one of your videos or photos, and I apologize.
So good.
Alright. Yeah, let's stand back here as the sun is in our eyes.
Okay.
It's a little close to the main entrance, but it's okay. Welcome to Fort William Henry. This is not the original fort. It was rebuilt in the 50s and then opened in the 60s because when this fort was discovered by the French and they conquered it from the British, it was stinky and it was basically a thorn in their side the entire time, so they had no use for it. They didn't want the British retaking it. For those reasons, they burned it back down. Now, of course, as you might have inferred from that, this took place during the French and Indian War.
There's a sign out next to the Echo Spot that tells us about the ships that came in that were all burned.
Oh yes. I don't know much about that, but I've heard of
Okay,
it.
okay. So I thought it was incorporated because all of this should
Not,
be some.
but
No?
no, it's
Oh,
not.
okay, okay.
I am kind of new to this, so I apologize for all the ums.
Okay.
Anyway, where was it going?
I don't know, but we had to pay
It was
for this
stinky,
Sticky.
and they didn't want to retake
Write
it.
down. Right. Okay. So, back when they did take it, of course they had to do a siege, which lasted 6 days. The fort was only thought to have lasted 2 days. It only should have lasted a maximum 2 days, but the British fought so well that the French then said, okay, we will let you go. We will let you go with your lives without being imprisoned and with the stuff you brought to the fort. Everyone was very happy with this. But actually that's not true. Not everyone was very happy about this. We forgot to mention the Native American allies to the French. They were promised a 2-day siege, or like, some people say battle, it's more siege. And they were also promised the spoils of war. But their paycheck just got up and left after the 6-day siege, and many people even came from places as far away as Maine to get here, and obviously there were no cars then, so you either had to walk or take a horse. It was not quick. So they were very angry, and that's what began the massacre at Fort William Henry. They first blew up the Northwest Bastion, which is in between the West and North Barracks back there. It happened 3 times. Okay. I'm psychic. Anyway, that's how they got into the fort. And the British were supposed to leave with their armed escorts, but they did not. And they also left the wounded soldiers here from the siege and, just from having to go through some surgical procedures down in the medical area, which we'll get to at the very last stop. So anyway, these people were left over at the fort, including some women and children that were here. They were not supposed to be here, but some were because people brought them in. They were lonely, they needed safety or something like that. And so, the Native Americans began to either kill and torture a lot of the people here. And then they went after the ones that were fleeing to Fort Edward, which was the more important fort to the British. The whole reason Fort William Henry was here was to be an alarm system for Fort Edward, because Fort Ticonderoga, or as the French called it, Fort Carillon, was on the way to it, and they wanted to make sure the French weren't leading and getting their way to Fort Edward. So, the British that were fleeing there were also attacked. The Abenaki, which is a tribe that was allied to the French as well, would like to employ their own torture tactics and psychological warfare. That will also be applicable to a later story when we get into the paranormal stuff. I apologize for all the history talk. It's necessary to understand
No,
the
I'm
context
curious.
of it.
What were they promised as paychecks?
Oh, the stuff that the soldiers brought, and anything on the soldiers, like their scalp, their fingers, their toes, their nose.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
the good stuff.
Just proofs of kill, basically.
Okay.
Sorry, I apologize if that was not clear.
That's okay.
So, around, I want to say, a few years ago, there was a military crypt. I apologize for the word blanking. Over around Kelperman, if you want to say, is gone. I'm not completely gone, but mostly gone. Sometimes you'll see him on the stairs. If anything, but it's a lot less common. Anyway, we shall make our way onto the well, and yes. There's a lot to memorize. I hope I keep track.
Yes.
Yeah, I think right around where we're standing right now is where the crypt seems to be from memory. 'Cause I did go here a while ago. Some people said it was by the cannon, depends on which guide you ask, but.
Oh yeah, Rob, we'll put your head in that thing.
I got CapCut app for this so I can sometimes cut it.
I want to.
Yeah.
Is everybody feeling well tonight?
Well,
Anyway,
I don't want
this
to.
well is original to the fort. It is about 25 to 30 feet deep. And the bricks are not original, just the hole. It was a very common cause of death for the soldiers here, and for the people that lived in the fort, but not in the way you think. No one fell in the well. The only skeleton we found down there was one of a bird.
okay.
So, at first, this well was actually very useful. The reason it was built was because in order to get water, clean water for the fort, we had to go to Lake George. But that required getting out of the fort and facing possible attacks from either the French or their native allies.
All right, so going out of the fort, and the lake is like right there.
Yes.
To get water, it was dangerous.
It was dangerous, and it took a lot of effort because it was up and down a hill.
Oh, right, those steps.
Yes.
Okay.
It was, believe it or not, yes, it was dangerous, and there was a hill there, so it took a lot of effort to haul up buckets of water a few times a day.
Okay.
In the winter, it was even more difficult because there was ice there, so you had to soften the ice to get to the water.
Yeah,
So
buddy.
they ended up building a well, which is a safer and easier way to get water. At first, in the winter, it treated them very well. I will keep intending those puns. Anyway, and it gave them access to the clean water they needed. However, when things started to warm up, they noticed it became more swampy, and it became like things were growing in it, and it started to taste bad. But they had to keep drinking it anyway. And then people got sick with dysentery, which, for those who don't know, it's a disease where you poop yourself so much you dehydrate and then you die.
Wow.
So when people had to go, they would either do it in a bucket or right over the wall. Either way, the poop would end up over the wall.
Which would end up in the water anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
So then they were drinking swampy fecal water.
Okay.
And then, to make things even worse, everyone started dying from this. And in the winter, they had nowhere to bury the dead bodies because the ground was frozen solid and they couldn't keep them inside the fort as per a law from the British. And so they threw them over the walls. So then, when they decayed, even though they kept in the winter, in summer they decayed, then that started to leak into the water too. This killed more people than the siege and the massacre ever did. This was around for 2 years. The siege happened for 6 days, as I said. For that reason too, it was around longer and everyone drank from this well. Anyway, the most paranormal activity you'll get around here is not because other people have died, although it certainly could be. It's just because it's probably a lot of residual energy, is the theory. You will often see or hear spirits going from the main entrance, which used to be over there in that hole in the wall, I can say. And they'd walk over there to this well, and then sometimes even to the powder magazine, just going about their daily lives, getting their water, or sometimes they just relax around here because this is a common place to have leisure time. Another spirit you will see around this well is one of a little girl. Now she is also very commonly found in the powder magazine over here, which is our next stop.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, you go first, Rob.
She has either been seen at the very back wall or ducking behind the corner to the left, because to the left there is a room full of gunpowder, which is why it's the powder magazine. So, yeah, you go to the left and then you go to the left again. It's the little maze in there without any dead ends.
You
So-
going in there?
After this, yes.
Okay.
And
I cannot
sometimes-
wait.
Your own risk.
I got a protection ring.
Yeah, me too.
So-
Anyway, so the little girl, as far as I'm concerned now, she's friendly. She's great.
Mhm.
She likes to play hide and seek, or she tries to get us fired. We don't know which one, because there was a guide that was locking up for the night, and then he saw this little girl and thought, oh, obviously, of course, this has to be someone left over from one of the tours. So he goes down there, and she disappears behind the wall, and then she's gone completely. But this is obviously the only way in and out, and it's a very small area, so you'd be able to see if she escaped behind him. So then he went back out, thinking maybe he was seeing things, heard some knocking behind him, kept walking until later he turned
Mhm.
around, and then he saw her again. And then he's like, alright, I've seen enough horror movies to know I'm not investigating this alone. So he closes the door, locks it up, goes to get the other guide, and they come out together, and there she is again when they reopen the door, except she's waving and smiling, and then disappears, reportedly, from her head to her feet. So, of course, they calmly lock the door once again, and the guide that saw this, and who was previously a skeptic, just as calmly put in his 2 weeks' notice. I've been told he works at the YMCA. I'm not sure.
Why?
No ghost there.
So, the other spirit we'll see down here, we believe to be a guard. Because of what he does to guard the place, and which I'll explain in a moment, and because you needed a guard here when this fort was around. This was important property because if you were stealing from it, you weren't stealing from the officers from the fort, you were stealing from the King of England.
Ah.
So you needed someone to protect the king's stuff. And it was usually one of the soldiers, and also, which this will come in important later, most of the soldiers here were between the ages of 16 to 22. So we have this person, just spirit in there, who likes to pace the halls. And sometimes people have reported being pushed from him when entering because you're not supposed to be in there.
Ah.
And in addition, women have had their hair pulled, especially when it's tied back, and even more especially if they're blonde.
You
Oh.
go first.
There's 2 theories behind that. One is women weren't
Get your
allowed to
camera
be in
ready,
the
Rob.
military.
I'm about
so
to
women were not allowed
restart
to
it
be
after
in the
this
powder
as we
magazine.
go
And
through.
he just wants to get you out. The hair is an easy thing to pull. Makes sense. The other one is he's between the ages of 16 to 22. He's been in the military in this fort. He has not seen a single woman around his age in a while. So
I could be his mother. Get out of
Be
here.
one of the
his
guys'
mom.
moms had their hair pulled.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if age matters as much. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. I'm not him. But yes, you're welcome to investigate.
Oh, good.
It's
Part
close to the
2,
target.
part 3, part 3. We're going through. Let's see if we can find something. Someone's behind you, Dad. Oh, let me fill these.
Some people carved on the walls, I can tell you that much.
Yep.
Hey, look, RH.
It's a lot cooler in here, that's for sure. Come on, come out. Come out and play. Oh, these are the ones for the cannon ammo.
A wooden shovel.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah,
what
that
that's
sounds fun.
that's in Skyrim
Oh,
right there.
I get it.
That's the show. That's what was in Skyrim. That's cool.
I'm sorry, am I in the way? No.
Oh, it's for the sparks.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Right, babe, thanks.
Was that in your way?
Oh, no, he just pulled my hair.
It's probably hard to sell tickets to this.
Maybe the ghost has a fetish for
I think it's interesting.
He's like, oh, yeah. I gotta figure out how this cap cut stuff works. Maybe Ash will teach me.
Those would be illegal.
No activity mean right now. Hey Michelle,
Okay, ready? Oh,
Just-
it's a sweet cheese.
just be careful, man.
Look up.
Off to goes the herd.
Okay, are we good? You got
All
me?
right, babe. See you later.
All right. Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
You stuck? You really stuck?
Okay, thank you.
However, it was one of the tactics employed by the Abenaki, which was to skin the face of someone before they died, because they believed that how you would look on the moment of death is how you looked in the afterlife.
Oh.
And in addition to that, they would wear the skinned faces because that was a scare tactic, and they thought you could see through the eyes of your enemies when in battle. So
Okay.
that's why we say that person could have the face of ground beef.
Because they took the face off.
Yes.
It's like a whole skin mask.
Hamburger.
Wow, okay. All right.
Yes, I
Face.
Thank you.
Anyway, our next stop is in the basement. The fancy works the basement, so we will be going down.
I reckon you got a hamburger face. Oh, wait, let's see. I should probably left to go see, get some Dunkin' again.
Jeez, we're
Supposed to be
Yeah.
All right, we're good. I know they're going to be cleaning up after themselves.
She did the dishes this morning. He was
She's gonna get kidney stone if she keep drinking that stuff all the time. I'm sorry, Ashley. I love you.
Here.
Oh, I like this room. Pretty cool, man. Get some more lights going on.
This place has had some
Alright.
bad luck.
This is the original fireplace of the fort. However, it is at the back of the fireplace because we are shifted about 12 feet in one direction. I don't remember which direction. So this is the back, but it's still the original fireplace. Anyway, there is a spirit that is thought to either be behind this glass here or sometimes even on the stairs, but in this general area, she's here. So one of the stories of her sighting is there was another little girl different from the one I told you about previously, and she saw this mannequin in that area right there. And this mannequin had graying hair, she had a dark dress on, she was bent over the fireplace. This girl wanted to take a picture with her, so she ran to her mom and was like, hey, can we take a picture? So the mom agreed, and they came back here to take a picture with the mannequin that was no longer there. There was never a mannequin in this display. So they took a picture anyway. There was a ghost orb on that picture in place of where the girl saw the quote-unquote mannequin. We do not have access to that picture, unfortunately, but that is what was on the picture. So we don't have a name for her. We call her Mary because that was a common name of the time, and she seems okay with it, so we're okay with it. Oh, and if you do want to take a picture of this, beware of something really, really spooky that always happens whenever you take a picture of this display and the surgery display, and it's called your reflection.
That's funny.
So because it's glass there, some people have taken pictures, seen someone's reflection, and thought they
You know
captured
what?
something paranormal.
You know the mirrors is the gateway that they travel
yes.
for mirrors.
Yes.
That's crazy, right?
It is.
That is crazy.
Although, I guess glass can act as a mirror, but not in that way.
Any kind of glass, they always try to.
Yeah. After we're done taking pictures, we will head all the way to the back of the casemate.
Oh, that looks so cool. Wow.
Got a CD display. As we pass this place, we will come across our prisons. Except Fort William Henry never had a prison.
All right.
In the blueprints, the people that built this read this area as prisons. A historian later came along and reread the blueprints and said, this does not say prisons, this is provisions, this is the pantry. So we're passing the pantry. Provisions.
Oh, it's so much cooler as rooms come. Let's see. Hey, buddy. That's crazy.
Oh, they do that. They're not supposed to, like, you know, mechanically, but yes, the mannequins are said to blink. I will get the two.
Weren't we talking about this? Right. When he said, can you sew your own?
They can also move. So, that's interesting. I was going to explain it, but I am also waiting for everyone to gather around.
Sorry.
No, it's not you, it's the whole group. We gotta consolidate. It's okay.
That.
Guard room, and the reason this is here is because of the provisions or the pantry. You had to make sure no one stole from the pantry either. So that makes more sense than if that was the prisons there, because it was not. So, guard duty was a very desirable position to be in. All you had to do was drink rum, play cards, hang out by the fire, chat with your friends, and make sure no one stole from the pantry. In the winter, this was especially nice because there was a fireplace and because you are sheltered from the elements.
He looks like, give me some.
So, we have a duty roster over
Are these
here.
the original names of the?
Yes, these are real people that have served on this, which will come into a story in just a moment.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. No, people are getting ahead of me. I appreciate the enthusiasm. So, on this duty roster, yes, these are all the names of people that have been on the duty roster. And people put their names in here to rotate it because it was such a desirable position. They didn't want one person only doing this and nothing else. The names would be erased if someone got injured or if they were killed. So someone else could take place. Anyway, one night, all these names except one got erased. Maintenance thought it was funny and rewrote the names because this was all written in chalk. Right now it's in paint. And then it happened again, and it happened again and again, and over, and they thought it was annoying. And so they confronted the ghost guys about it and said, why do you keep erasing these names? The guys didn't know what to think of that. They didn't know what to say because they couldn't. There was a plexiglass window right here, and there was a padlock on this door that only maintenance had the combination to. So everyone chalked it up to paranormal activity. But wait, there was one name that wasn't erased. So the guys asked who that was. It was Captain R. Saltonstall, top left over there. It turns out he was the only one that survived the siege and the massacre, and later went on to become a loyalist soldier in the revolution. So the theory here is that the spirits don't know that time has passed or don't know that he's dead yet.
So he was supposed to not work, and so he kept taking his name off.
It's pretty cool.
I'm sorry, I don't know this history, and I just keep interrupting you.
No, I appreciate it. It's fine. Anyway, there's also a lot of energy back here because this is where the massacre started. This is where wounded soldiers were kept after surgery. And it's also where people fled to because the only entrance and exit was where we came from, down there by the fireplace. These middle staircases were added because OSHA said so, we need a fire exit.
Of course.
So, people entered from in there, and they started killing the people way down here. So a lot of people died in this general area back here. which is also why you will see a lot of ghost orbs either on video or photo. So it's a very good place to record and take pictures.
Rotation.
In addition to that, these mannequins are said to move and blink, as someone here just witnessed.
Really?
Yes. I have not seen it yet. I've seen other people see it. And the shadows will do the same thing. They'll move or change shape or sometimes even duplicate themselves. And the bottles on the table are outlined in chalk because they too like to move out of place. So maintenance knows where to put them back.
Wow.
Yes. Now feel free to absorb the orb. That should be a saying. I'll go to the middle.
Very
I feel something like heavy in here.
Oh yeah. Especially if the light, you turn the lights off down here.
Yep.
You feel it a lot.
A lot of heavy energy. A lot of people.
This middle staircase will be our last stop. I'm going to check the time.
Hopefully I catch something later. That'd be cool.
We've got it. So underneath this staircase, there's a spirit that commonly likes to reside there. We don't have a name for him, so we just call him him because that's pretty much all we know about him, except for the things the psychics and mediums have told us. Multiple have come by and said the same thing without communicating previously to each other, so that makes it a pretty convincing story. The story is that he was a Native American who fought here with the French, invaded down here to, as a part of the massacre. And when he came about to this area, he was met by a woman and her child. And they begged and pleaded for their life, which he granted, despite their language barrier. They were able to understand each other. However, he did go on to continue and kill other people around them because it was still a massacre. That's what they were doing. So, as he was doing that, the mother thought that she still wasn't safe, and that's only like a temporary safety net, for example. So she took one of the surgeon's knives and stabbed him in the back, and that is how he died.
Wow.
So he is not very fond of mothers and children. So, anyway, he is also not fond of people who disrespect him, which I will explain. He is one of the more intelligent spirits here, and not by IQ, but by the fact that he's consciously aware of the fact that he has died, that time has passed. Just like you and I are aware that we're alive and time has passed. And so, he also is quite, I guess powerful is the word I could use. I will give an example. And the example is also the reason why you are no longer allowed to be drunk on the tour. A great start already. So, there was this group that came by, they were all skeptics. And they wanted something to happen, but it was a quiet night. When we finally got to him, which at the time was in the middle of the tour, one of them decided to go underneath the stairs and start shadow boxing the air like they're trying to fight him. And he did not appreciate that, and we let him know in just a moment. When the guides, who also did not appreciate it and were in fact horrified, when they saw that, they kicked everyone out. And they made sure that the guy shadow boxing the air was the last one on the stairs so he didn't slip back or do anything else crazy. So at about this step, when everyone was leaving, the guy shadow boxing the air tripped. And then he claimed someone pushed him, but of course the guide said, no, you're obnoxious and you're drunk, you just tripped, let's go. So they're making their way back to the main entrance and he's complaining about the guides because they're being annoying or something. I don't really know what the complaint is. But he was going back. And then he started complaining about his back instead and that it was burning. And it just kept burning. And so, even though he was like this the entire tour, trying to get attention and trying to make something happen, the guys decided to humor him and also check just in case they had to call the paramedic. So they lifted the back of his shirt and there were 3 scratch marks going from the right shoulder to the left hip. So, that is one of the instances that he has attacked someone. That is not the only one. Don't shadow box me. Yeah. And the other time is when there is this paranormal investigative group that somehow thought it was a good idea to do this. They took a musket from upstairs and they started pointing it at him and yelling racial slurs and telling him to come out of the stairs. There was a woman in this group. She was the one that got shoved to the ground, and then she started, like, I guess complaining, or I can't find the right word for this, that she couldn't breathe well or that something heavy was on her chest. So of course, when someone is having an issue that could likely be medical, you take a picture. That's obviously the logical thing to do. Someone did take a picture, and they found something on top of her. Depending on who you ask, it's either a shadow or a white outline of a person, but either way, it's a person on top of this woman, standing on her chest and choking her by the throat. And so they got someone else in the fort that was more in tune with the fort and with the spirits here, and they were able to get him either to calm down or however they did it. He got off of the woman, and she was able to go. So we also have a shrine down here, because we don't want to disrespect him. We want to be polite. And, I mean, as far as I'm aware, as long as you're nice to him, he's nice back. So, just the only rule is don't touch the shrine if you go under here, and unless you want to add to it, and don't be a jerk. That's also why the rule don't be a jerk is here.
You know, Robbie, that penny drum we made, we could have brought it here.
Oh, you had that in your. I thought you put it in your purse.
Should we leave it?
If you want to.
You think you'd like that?
If you want to,
You
I
said
want
he's
to.
Native American? You
Yes.
think he'd like a drum? Yeah.
Honestly, and someone gave him a Swedish fish a few days ago, and that was
Yeah,
fine.
we can leave that for him.
Don't do anything.
I really hope I can get this video published. It's not in there? I remember you put it in there.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh.
We made this up in town. It's out of a penny, right? And
Cool. Yeah.
so I can leave that for him?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, all right. See, it's, you put 50 cents in and you put a
Right,
penny and
and
you
you
make a. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this.
Aw.
Just because we were here. Oh. I was here too.
Oh,
Where'd we
wait, let me
go?
video. Let me.
Yes, take a picture of it because we were gonna bring that home.
Okay.
Is anyone here would liking to do? I can't find the words today.
I will stay.
Everyone that
can
doesn't
go.
want to,
Yeah.
follow me back up. I will come back downstairs. but-
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
You wanna go?
Recording is on. Oh shoot. Everybody went upstairs. We're the only ones on here. We just need a little flash. Alright.
Hey man, I think that man's gonna give me a middle finger.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Middle finger, bro.
Why you flicking you off?
Oh man.
You left some fart juice down here. Here, take some fart juice.
Is there anyone here? Does anyone want to make themselves known?
So interesting.
Oh, did you hear that, bro?
I did.
Tell them they're here in the dark.
Really?
Yes.
Did
Do
you
you
hear
feel
that?
anything right now?
Yes, it's so much. I don't know who is where. It's just so many.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I heard that too. That wasn't you?
Nope.
I don't know what they. It was sort of a small whistle.
Let's just listen.
Oh,
Real,
that's a move over here.
let's just listen real quick.
I would not whistle back. That is not a good idea. Whatever it is, I do not trust anything that whistles. I didn't hear it, but I'm not very sure.
Try over here somewhere. Right by the cells. Sometimes when people remain in a spot, they will go back to it sometimes.
I commonly sense either people back here or someone by that chair next to the pantry area.
You say you are, you can sense stuff, right?
Yes. I consider myself to be a beginner medium. I'm not very good at it, but I can tell when someone's around.
Let's see. Let's take a flash real quick. See if we can.
Thank you all for bearing with me and my fumbling over the stories.
It's very weird over there.
It does.
Honestly, it's more than I.
You know why? Because the more or less people, it's gonna feel comfortable. You know, like you gotta.
No, I mean like my hair stood right up.
Let me see.
I messed up on the very first history class. No. I said it right, I just outward. I'm not fishing for compliments either, I just realized it sounds like
Yeah,
a
something feel right.
Thank
You
you.
did good, I think. All right, that's good. Someone like me and I ask a lot of questions. No, that's
Oh, yeah,
good.
she
I
does.
love
Sure,
that
sure,
people are engaged and like that you actually, it's better that you ask
A lot of questions than if you were the little kid kicking rocks.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did very good.
Can we spend a night in here? No, it's fine.
Robbie, you can.
Actually, you can pay to do an overnight paranormal investigation.
Really?
There you
Yes.
go.
I just need the fancy gear, man. I'll call Anthony
How
up.
do we get out?
Up here. This way.
All right, just for a few.
follow.
And also turn the
Science
lights
is
back on
exit.
before you get the light, but-
No. And we won't see it.
I'll bring a pillow. Bring a blankie. I don't want to get pushed down, man.
Also, another common place people are going on these stairs. Usually, like, there's a woman scene on the stairs.
I just feel like really weird when I walk in.
Yeah. Now it feels different. Now the lights are off. He didn't look meaner before in the picture. He didn't. No, when I. Wait, I've been in here before, right?
What was I saying to you when we were on the ship? What do they do in the wintertime here, right? Don't you wonder? Because this is the hot spot for summertime tourism. And people who live here year round, if there's snow on the ground, what do you do, right? Robbie, I feel so good leaving that drum.
It is.
You? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
it's okay. I don't mind.
Alright.
I feel like that was meant to be. We were supposed to.
Good idea.
We were supposed to probably make it in this
We
time.
made it for a reason, right?
Yep. Wow. Guys, one thing I know about pictures, sometimes pictures can change and you mess with your mind. Frames, whatever it is.
Yeah, I am. Thank you so much. You're welcome. What was your name again?
Magnus.
Magnus.
You,
Yes, sir.
Madness.
Nice name.
Madness?
Magnus.
Robbie.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
Robbie. You okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything,
Oh, thank you.
for teaching us about this place.
Have a good night.